What's up, everybody? In today's video we will be going over everything you need to know before we go into my universe mode for WWE 2K22, which is starting this week or next week. I'm not sure yet. It depends on how long it takes production wise to get the episode out. Maybe this weekend or maybe next week. It'll happen when it happens, but in this video we will be going over the current champions of each brand. There are 3 brands: Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. And we will also be going over the matchups that you can expect on season premiere week for WWE 2K22 Universe Mode. So without further ado, let's start with the Raw brand. We start off with the red brand with Raw General Manager Shane McMahon. And we start off with the reigning current World Tag Team Champions, Red Dragon. And they have been on a roll, recently defeating the Authors of Pain. It'll be interesting to see what they can do heading into Season 2. For the mid-card division on Raw, we have the reigning United States Champion Andrade Cien Almas, who is coming off of a monumental victory over the leader of the C Nation, John Cena, at Vengeance, the last pay-per-view. And it'll be interesting to see if Andrade can keep this string of momentum going into WWE 2K22. As for the women's division on Raw, we have the current Raw Women's Champion, Becky Lynch, who is just coming off of a huge victory over Alexa Bliss when they fought in the Wyatt compound, and it'll be interesting to see Becky Lynch's next path. What's next for Becky Lynch? We'll find out on Raw. And lastly, for the champions on Raw, we have the current WWE Champion with a new WWE Championship design, the Scottish psychopath Drew McIntyre, who absolutely went to war with Finn Balor in a steel cage match at Vengeance. I'm excited to see what's next for the Scottish Terminator. We'll find out in 2K22. We continue on next up with the blue brand SmackDown, which is led by the current SmackDown General Manager Stone Cold Steve Austin, as we announce the champions. And we start off with the current WWE Tag Team Champions, the Dirty Dogs, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, who just defeated the New Day, in which New Day unfortunately has split up due to Big E turning on his New Day brethren. But the Dirty Dogs, regardless, have been on a roll as of late, and they look to continue that into 2K22. We move on to the mid-card for the blue brand now, and SmackDown, as we have the Intercontinental Champion Aleister Black, who just came off a win against The Miz at Vengeance, and Aleister Black is ready for more competition as the Intercontinental Champion. Now for the SmackDown Women's division, we have as SmackDown Women's Champion the legit boss, Sasha Banks, who's got some very, very important and really impressive victories over the last couple months. 2 wins over Charlotte Flair, finally ending that feud that has been very booked long term. And then, recently at Vengeance, taking down Naomi with her new gimmick, but it wasn't enough to take down the legit boss, Sasha Banks. It's going to be awesome to see the legit boss heading into 2K22 Universe Mode. And finally, for SmackDown, for the blue brand, the Men's World Championship division, we have the current World Heavyweight Championship, Big Gold, the current World Heavyweight Champion, the Tribal Chief, the Big Dog, Roman Reigns, the head of the table, and he recently got a huge victory over Kevin Owens. Although Kevin Owens did get the last laugh, we're going to see when Roman Reigns speaks his mind this week on SmackDown. But your current World Heavyweight Champion on SmackDown, Roman Reigns, folks. And for the third and final brand of my WWE 2K22 Universe Mode, we have NXT with a whole new color scheme and a whole new arena, a bit more of a colorful vibe. But trust me, folks, just because black and gold is gone in my universe does not mean that black and gold style is all the way gone totally. Like, it's not all the way gone. It's just a new color scheme to give a fresh start for a new season, a new series of Universe Mode. But we're going to start off with the reigning NXT Cruiserweight Champion, Kalisto, who in fact will be defending his Cruiserweight Championship in a Cruiserweight Open match at the Great American Bash to determine the last ever Cruiserweight Champion, because as per NXT General Manager Shawn Michaels, the championship is being retired after the Cruiserweight Championship match at the Great American Bash. So look out for that. But Kalisto is your current Cruiserweight Champion. Next up for the NXT Tag Division, we have the current NXT Tag Team Champions, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. They'll be looking to continue their wrath of momentum by trying to successfully defend the NXT Tag Team Championships and keep it pushing and keep it going on NXT. Next up, we have the North American Championship with the current North American Champion, the Super King of Bros, Matt Riddle, and he's had multiple successful title defenses over the last few months, defeating Chad Gable at TakeOver in Your House, and then defeating his best friend Baron Corbin last week on NXT, and he'll be looking to continue and keep that North American title around his shoulders after the Great American Bash, as we look to see who will be the next #1 contender for Matt Riddle's North American Championship. And for the NXT Women's Division, we have the current NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai, who's been taking a lot of crap and beatdowns from the recently reunited Divas of Doom featuring Beth Phoenix and Natalya. Can Io Shirai be resilient and fight back? We will find out soon on NXT. And finally, to wrap up all the current champions on my WWE 2K22 Universe Mode roster, we have the current NXT World Champion, Walter, not Gunther or Gunther, ladies and gentlemen. His name's Walter, and that's final. He is the current leader of Imperium, and he is the ring general. The mat is sacred, we all know this. He has wins over guys like Sheamus, Kenny Omega, and more. He defeated Kenny Omega last week in the main event, but he was assaulted by a returning Rusev. The Bulgarian Brute is out for blood, and maybe he's looking for NXT title shots, so Walter may have a lot on his hands, but we'll see where that goes on NXT. But Walter is your current NXT World Champion. So yeah, those are the current champions in my 2K22 Universe Mode. We are looking to add the NXT United Kingdom Championship to NXT once the finals get done at TakeOver Great American Bash. When the finals happen, the finals will happen at the Great American Bash. Once that happens, it becomes a full-time championship on NXT. We're going to see who wins the tournament and who becomes the first NXT UK champion in my series. And speaking of NXT, why don't we go over what you can expect for the season premiere episode for WWE 2K22 Universe Mode for NXT, which is the first official episode on WWE 2K22, ladies and gentlemen. It will be NXT with the new color scheme. Let's get into the match card lineup and what you can expect. Like I was talking about before, the NXT UK title tournament will be continuing, and if you missed last week's episode, we saw Wade Barrett defeat Sheamus, and we saw Ilya Dragunov defeat Chad Gable to move on to round 2. They will be moving on to the episode after this week's episode of NXT to face each other in round 2, but we still have 2 more round 1 matchups that will happen on this week's episode of NXT. It'll be Cody Rhodes taking on a mystery opponent. It was originally supposed to be Shawn Spears, but he unfortunately failed the wellness policy, so Shawn Michaels, the NXT GM, is forced to find a replacement. We will find out who that replacement is on NXT, and it's the right to move on to round 2. Whoever wins this match moves on to round 2. Also, another round 1 matchup, and actually the final and last round 1 matchup to determine who also moves on to round 2. It'll be Tyler Bate taking on Dominik Dijakovic. This should be a classic, ladies and gentlemen. And for the main event of the Season 2 premiere of NXT, the episode of NXT, it will be a tag team match. There'll be some tag team action to determine the #1 contenders for the Great American Bash. It'll be Imperium taking on FTR. The winners will become #1 contenders for the reigning NXT Tag Team Champions, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. They will get the matchup at TakeOver Great American Bash, and we'll see which team is able to walk out as #1 contenders here on NXT. And last but not least, for the season premiere episode of NXT, the NXT General Manager Shawn Michaels will be back in the building, and he is supposedly going to be revealing his official insurance policy and his official new team to help take control and, in his own words, control the chaos that has been happening on NXT as of the past couple weeks. Who will be the insurance policy? We will find out on NXT. Now let's move on to some of the matchups that will be taking place on the season premiere episodes for Raw and SmackDown. Those brands also will be taking place, and there will be the season 1 premiere for those episodes as well. But if you missed it, ladies and gentlemen, on the channel, the WWE chairman of WWE, Triple H, has revealed the official King of the Ring bracketology. That video is on the channel, and you can check it out now if you want to. or not. You could just take a screenshot right now and look at it right now. But let's move on to some matchups you can expect on the season premiere episodes of Raw and SmackDown. We start out with the first matchup of round 1 for the red brand for the Raw side of the tournament, as we see the Fiend Bray Wyatt take on Johnny Gargano in a round 1 matchup to see who can advance to the next round. We'll find out. Will it be the Fiend or Gargano advancing? We will also see the second round 1 matchup for the red brand for this tournament, and it'll actually be a Vengeance rematch. Remember, these two had a match on the kickoff show at Vengeance. If you missed that, you can check it on the channel. But it'll be Seth Rollins taking on Keith Lee once again, this time with some King of the Ring advancement implications on the line. Also, after a very impressive victory over John Cena, we see the United States Champion in action when Andrade Cien Almas goes one-on-one with Tony Nese. What an opportunity for Tony Nese to get the chance to face the United States Champion. This should be a high-intense matchup. It'll be Nese and Almas on Raw. And last but not least, for the season premiere episode of Raw, we will see Drew McIntyre, the WWE Champion, who retained his championship successfully against Finn Balor in a steel cage match at Vengeance, will be hosting an open challenge in the main event of Raw. Who will step up? Who will take on the WWE Champion for the opportunity of a lifetime? And the championship is also on the line. We will find out. Moving on to the season premiere episode of SmackDown, we will see another round 1 matchup, this time on the blue brand. We will see The Miz go one-on-one with Daniel Bryan to see who can advance to round 2. This should be an interesting matchup, knowing the history between these two, and their history continues in the round 1 of King of the Ring. Also for round 1 on SmackDown, we will see Jey Uso take on Drew Gulak. We saw last week Drew Gulak tried to help Kevin Owens and distracted Jey Uso to help Kevin Owens get a victory over Jey Uso, after earlier in the night Jey Uso hit a super kick on Drew Gulak in the backstage, claiming that he drew Drew Gulak in round 1 of the tournament, and that is confirmed true, as these two will go one-on-one in round 1 of the King of the Ring tournament on the season premiere episode of SmackDown, who will advance to round 2. And last but not least, for the season premiere episode of SmackDown, we will see a huge last man standing match between Jeff Hardy and Samoa Joe. This has become so personal. Hardy returned last week after being dumped on the concrete floor, being thrown off the production truck last month at Backlash. He is now back for vengeance, and we will see a huge last man standing match to end this feud once and for all. It's going to be an insane main event, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys are ready. It's going to be insane. Hardy and Joe, last man standing. Who will be the last man standing? Give me your predictions in the comments below. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much what I wanted to get off my chest for this video. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you're all caught up if you haven't been paying attention. If you're new here and you're watching, this is just the history of my universe. I actually started my universe like exactly last year in this month. Last year in March I started. I know it's taken me a whole year to get 2 months worth of universe mode content actually out, but I'm going to try and be really consistent more this year. I just like to take my time and create the best universe mode episodes possible. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you liked, and please like, comment, subscribe if you're new. Turn on those noties so you don't miss a premiere. I premiere every episode of universe mode every time a new one's coming out, except for videos like these where I'm giving out information on actual universe, or any other videos. They probably won't be premieres, but universe mode actual episodes will always be premieres. Thank you for watching. It's been your boy Nick. I'm out for now. Peace, and I'll see you guys for 2K22 universe mode. We will start 2K22 with NXT. I will see you on NXT.